Hi, I'm Janice. Welcome to my channel. Today I just wanted to talk about a movie that I watched recently on Netflix called Brain on Fire. You might have seen that one. I'll just let you know that there might be some spoiler alert here because I want to talk about the content of the movie, so if you haven't seen it yet, you might want to wait until after you've seen it to watch this video, and I do recommend seeing it because I think it's quite a good movie. So, in this story, which is based on a true story, I don't know how accurate they are to all the events that actually happened in this young woman's life. It was really interesting to me because she was dealing with seizures, which was a point of interest for me because I had an event that may or may not have been a seizure several months ago. So that's why I actually found the movie and wanted to watch it. And yeah, it was really interesting to see how she was dealing with these things that people just, where her boss was yelling at her and she's actually having a seizure, but he doesn't know, because she's just kind of phasing out and she's not passing out like you might do in a full tonic-clonic kind of seizure. She's still semi-aware. She's just kind of phasing out. And so that really touched me. I have to admit I did cry a few times when watching that movie. And I'm not really much of a crier, but I just couldn't help myself. And then eventually trying to find her diagnosis was really, I think it's something that a lot of us can relate to for a lot of things. I loved seeing how her parents advocated for her and they never gave up. They kept on fighting for her. The doctors, she had a team of doctors saying, let's just ship her off to this mental institution. But they said, no, we need to find an answer. There's something wrong here. And they kept fighting. And I love that, because how many of us as patients have advocates who would fight for us like that? Some of you maybe do, but although I have people that care about me in my life, none of them are really in a position to advocate for me. So I loved watching that. I also love how her boyfriend stuck with her all the way through it, because that must have been absolutely terrifying for him, wondering if she was ever going to talk to him again or even know who he was. And of course it is kind of a happy story because she does eventually get her real diagnosis and they are able to help her very slowly over time get her life back. I'm sure it's not exactly like it was before. There are probably some long-term effects and medications and things like that that do make life difficult, but I thought it was a really neat movie to watch as someone with chronic illness and someone who has had to deal with doctors not taking her very seriously. Now, one thing I will say, they were trying to diagnose her with schizophrenia, bipolar. Those are real conditions. And I thought maybe the way they were handled in the movie, that was something I could maybe complain a little bit about, because it was kind of like, well, no, I don't know. I think it was just mostly that they didn't want that to be the final diagnosis because they knew there was something else going on here. But those themselves are real diagnoses and they need to be dealt with seriously. And I just got a little bit of a feeling from the movie that it would have been like, oh, if it was just schizophrenia, then, oh well, send her off to the home and that's the end of it. And I don't think that's a good answer either. I think we need to look into real treatments for things like that the medical system just obviously doesn't have always a lot of answers for. You still shouldn't just give up because that's the diagnosis. But ultimately, I love that they had 3 doctors sitting there at the table saying, this is what we think it probably is, so let's just send her off to that home. And her parents said, no, absolutely not. They stood up to 3 specialists and said, I'm not going to accept that. Don't give up yet. Keep going. Keep looking. So it did seem kind of like a chance that one doctor finally did step in and really, really look into it and do the research. I can't imagine a doctor doing that in my life. Really, I can't. I mean, it just does not happen very often. So that's what makes it a really neat story too, that when a doctor goes above and beyond like that and really puts in that extra time, and not just one, but multiple, they really went out of their way and said, we need to solve this problem, not just to get the answer, but because this patient matters. This patient is trapped in her own body and we need to fight for her as a medical team too. So those are my comments. This is just a short one. I thought it was a neat movie, and if you've seen it, I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear if you liked it or didn't like it, if you have complaints about it. Maybe I haven't even thought about some of the negative things. I mean, it's just a movie. It's not true to exactly what happened, but I hope it was at least somewhat accurate. So thank you for watching. If you like this kind of content, please do subscribe to my channel, and God bless.